Good afternoon, and we are now back at the RumJohn bar. We're accompanied by, once again, my good friend Mike. Mike, how are you doing up in Virginia?
Good, John. How are you, buddy?
Not too bad. I am totally digging the background there with the back. It literally looks like you're sitting in front of me at the bar.
I'm telling you, this is a great idea. Liz is a smart woman for thinking of it. Give him many
Yeah,
props to her.
yeah. I
I
have
mean,
to say,
we got to have people tell us what they think about the whole, the fact that now it gives a perception of us sitting across from each other. Because,
exactly.
if we weren't, could we do this? Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, we can.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm having from the last video, I'm having a Gasparilla spiced rum and Coke. Let me say that right. It's very good. I like I think I was telling you from a previous smoker. It has a bit of that. What are the cigarettes that I was telling you about? They're the ones
Oh,
that
the cloves?
cloves. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I love those.
yeah, it has
Oh,
that clove taste to it, so it reminds me of when I when I smoked, I'd spit out flip out the big dollars and get the good cigarettes and have some cloves. But
the one thing about cloves, being a former military guy,
yeah.
you never want to smoke like three of them before you got to actually run a PRT.
Oh no. Yeah,
Talk about
that's
only having about 40% lung capacity.
right.
Oh,
Exactly. They're good, but hey, they're good in moderation.
yeah.
Speaking of moderation, sir, I wanted to ask you. You have gone quite a few days, and this is very personal to me because of my history and my battles that I've gone through. So tell me about this. How many days now?
Well, so as you know, a few of our friends have decided to quit various items, and
Yes,
I pursued the quitting of my 33-year habit of smoking cigarettes,
that makes me so happy, sir.
as
I
as
am.
could be seen on a couple other episodes.
Yes, a lot of editing there. Just take that out, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But hey, you know what? That makes me really happy, man. You know what? That just means that we get to do more of these videos. No, so let's talk about the rum of the week that we're gonna try is your suggestion, Diplomatico from Venezuela.
Venezuela, of all places.
Yes, I've got mine over here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. And
Yep.
then per your suggestion, I cut the glass out and I got a little shot glass here. We are really deprived at shot glasses. I will kid you not. I ordered a shot glass, a really cool. It was supposed to be like this copper shot glass on Amazon, and to me, it was like all piratey and perfect, right?
Yeah.
I am not lying. It came, and it was probably that big, sir.
What?
It was
That's
half
not
a
even a full,
shot glass. It
it
was
wasn't
like
even a full jigger?
no. It was easy half of
Wow.
a shot glass. So
Wow.
our thought was, all right, when we hit 100 subscribers, this is going to be the unveiling of this, and we sent it back. But yeah, so I got a shot glass, and I am going to do it the right way.
So I'm
Back.
doing at the work Christmas party, of course,
Yes,
every year I bid on, I don't know if you know this, but anything that is bourbon, scotch, or whiskey,
right.
I bid on, which means I win on.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
and so this was a glass that came with my Dalmore,
Oh,
my
very
8
nice.
Dalmore that I had
Had it
had yes.
enjoyed. It is now.
So I was like, oh, you know what? This will show, the perfect. They could see the color.
Yeah,
I could swill it so they could see legs.
it's
And
fabulous. And then so yeah, so all right, I know it's been a couple weeks because the last one I did was the Tampa Bay Rum Company, and we went through the distillery there, and it was a extremely fun and enlightening, and shout out to Sam again for letting us go through there. I had a lot of fun. I had so much fun that, as you can see, I decided to get a barrel and just have some fun. And then well, of course, if you get a barrel and you're gonna do some rum, it can't be just an oak barrel. you have to have some bourbon or whiskey or something in there. And you gave me the suggestion. Can you see the label on that first bottle over there?
I can see just the edge of the barrel. So.
Okay, so it's there. I've got the Clyde Mays, the straight bourbon. Let me grab this bottle. Straight bourbon whiskey that you recommended, and I've got three of these. Obviously, this is empty. I got 3 of these in that barrel.
So
and
the fantastic story about Clyde Mays, if I may, real quick.
Yeah.
So Clyde Mays, if you read a little bit about the history of Clyde Mays, which is why I turned you on to it, it's a fantastic story. Kind of sad, but really fantastic. Clyde Mays was a World War II veteran that when he got back from the war, he was doing a lot of odds and ends kind of work, and he ended up finding himself basically making his own hooch and running it, which was whiskey.
Right. Yeah.
Spent a lot of time bouncing in and out of jail for running the hooch, right? But then after the passing, after he passed away, God rest his soul, his son decided, hey, let's make this a legitimate business.
Oh, okay.
And so, hence the Clyde Mays.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good
story booze. Good story booze.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? I don't like the hey, I've started making this because I want to make some money kind of stuff. But if there's a hey, I started making this because I like it, and that's kind of what I want to do. Is I just want to play around and I got a small barrel, so it doesn't take as long. So this is a little I guess a little knowledge that I learned while doing the show is that with a small barrel, it cuts the amount of time that you actually have to age it. And Sam tipped on this on the last episode too, where the smaller the barrel, the less time it takes to age. And this particular barrel, this is basically a 3 liter barrel, and it will age 1 year and 3 months. So
are you turning the barrel every so often?
Yes, every 3 days I come out here and I turn that barrel, so I make sure that the bung hole is nice and wet and damp. I couldn't resist. So yeah, I turned it every so often, and it did not. Interestingly enough, those 3 in there did not fill it all the way to the top. So yeah, so it's actually a little more than 3. Yeah, so the next time around, I'll remember that. But and at the same time, I went and got a couple of these spirals, which is basically it's oak barrel spirals that they cut, and then they darkened, or they flamed up or whatever, charred up or whatever, right? Charred, yeah. And you put these spirals in a regular bottle of whatever you want to age, and it will age a bottle in a month.
The spiral, yeah.
So I've got Liz and I went and bought 4 or 5 bottles of just different white rums that we have liked in the past, and we kind of tasted them all, and then decided, okay, we like these 2 or 3. Let's age them in the bottle age and see what they taste like in a month. So in a month, we're going to open those up and we'll try them, and we'll let you know which one tastes the best. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take probably 3 or 4 of those, mix them together, and put it in this barrel, and then age that for 3 months, which would be a year.
Did you? Because I remember when we were looking at them, they had I don't want to say different flavors, but different charring aspects to them. To provide flavors. So are they all the same?
They are all the same. Yep.
Okay.
I got all the same because it's basically a medium-ish to dark char. So on the char scale, you can go out online and look at it, but the char scale, like the darker you get, the more flavors I was kind of into. So I got that kind of medium to dark. If you go super dark, it's like a butterscotch, and I'm not going to do that because Sam is going to do a butterscotch rum, Sam at the Gasparilla Rum Company. So I am going to hold myself off and taste his butterscotch and not taint the flavors of the butterscotch rum. I don't want to taste his and go, man, his was awesome, mine sucks.
I was just going to say that. I was going to be like, you're going to be like, Wow, how did his turn out that way and mine is like
Yeah,
crap?
his is going to be great. And I'm like, I wasted 3 months on this. Like, what the heck?
Straight in the bunghole.
Right, right. So yeah, I mean, it's just this, it doesn't take hardly any effort to throw 3 bottles of bourbon in a barrel and then sit there and watch it, right? I mean, it's not doing anything on me. I have to just turn it every now and then. I mean, what's the big deal? So I figure, every episode we do, hopefully this thing will be, just a little bit more turn, a little more turn.
Yes, turned.
Turn. So yeah, so that's that. And then
By the way, real quick,
yeah,
it is really hot. Why is there a fire pit over my shoulder?
other side, yeah, there's a fire.
Yeah. Sorry, right
That's
there. Right there.
that is purely ambiance right there. Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's not hot enough yet, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to have Lou on here too. I think he'd be a blast.
Yeah, we've RumJohn has official COVID masks that we
Yep.
can offer.
Yep. Lou's wife, I don't know what you call them. She makes T-shirts and fabrics, and I don't know what the title is.
Fabricator.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But she is
Merchant.
yes.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what that title is, but she has got a little shop where she does that, and we got in touch with her, and she's making us some. It's funny, we didn't ask for the masks. I said that would be cool, and we just kind of left it at that. And apparently, yeah, they just kind of did that. So
That's fantastic.
thank you to Lou and his wife Karen. I'm super happy about that.
Or as we call him, the good doctor.
The good doctor, yes,
Yeah.
doctor. So yeah, I'm excited about that. We got shirts, and we had to. They don't do hats, and I guess I'm learning hats are difficult to do because it's curved surface and whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and go. We're gonna get another company gonna get us some hats, and so yeah, we'll have hats and T-shirts if you guys want. With all these things we talk about, if you want, add a comment below, and this is actually just fun for us. So I'm a pirate at heart, so this here was more for me than anything. I came up with that, and that was like me.
Yeah.
This here, I said this a couple times, and someone else said that's kind of your mantra, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I just kind of stuck with it.
Well, I mean, it's better than the mung rag.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right, exactly. So we're excited about that.
So I do want to ask you a question though.
Yeah.
About the food porn that you sent me today.
Yeah.
While I'm eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that is not fair.
So that is the next topic, sir. I actually wanted to talk about that. So today I made ribs, and let me tell the viewers how to make ribs perfectly. And this is perfect for me. 3, 2, 1, exactly. And it can be different for everyone, but how I do it, and I can go into more details. Leave a comment below if you want me to add more details on this. But what I do is I flip the ribs over, and you got the membrane. Take the membrane off. I at first never took the membrane off, but as I've learned how to do it and gotten pretty good at it, I always take the membrane off. So to take the membrane off, I take the back of a spoon and I kind of rub the last bone until I get, yes.
Is that like it puts the lotion on its skin?
No, it's actually more closer to a membrane like, man, I don't want to tell you what it looks like.
Slight disturbance. Go ahead. Continue.
Yes, you take the spoon, the edge of the spoon, and you basically just kind of scrape along the last bone of the rib until you get like the membrane started. Oddly enough, and I saw this on YouTube, thank you, YouTube, you take a paper towel and you pinch that membrane, and something about the dry paper towel and that membrane, you now can grip it and you just pull it off. So if you are afraid or don't know how to take the membrane off, that is how you do it. Take the backside of a spoon and just kind of, or the front side, and just kind of scrape off along the top bone or the last bone on the end. And once you get like a little bit of it peeled up, like you're trying to peel the back end of a sticker off, you grab it with a paper towel and just pull, and it'll pull the whole thing off. Okay, so that's step 1. Step two, I flip them over and I put either a rub or a barbecue sauce or something like that on there, and I let that sit for a couple hours. 2-3 hours, whatever. Just let it soak in. Then comes the smoking. You start the smoker and let the smoke around 150 to 180 degrees. Don't let it go over 200, but you just let that smoke. Put all the ribs on there for 3 hours. There's the three. So you got it smoking for 3 hours. After that's done, I take it off and I put it in a pan. Put all the ribs in a pan. I cover it with tinfoil and I put it in the oven at 225. And I leave it in the oven for 225 for 2 hours. After 2 hours, start the grill back up. So it's really a little longer than 2 hours, because when the timer goes off, I then go start the smoker back up. So I go start the smoker back up, take it out of the pan and put it in the smoker. Smoke it at 150 to 185 for another hour. And then after the hour's done, I'm not like one of those like, okay, hour's done, I got to get it off. I leave it sit there until the table's set, until whatever, and I'll shut the grill off. And there is a cooking period that a lot of people don't realize, that if you get your temperature, like say you're cooking a good steak, right? You get that temperature up to say 145 for rare, or 155 for medium. You get it up to that temperature, you take it off the fire, it's still cooking. Yeah. So it's still going to cook for another 10 minutes. So what I do is I take that off of that grill with the intention that I know it's going to cook for another 10, 15 minutes. I'll set it out. So this picture here is it's sitting out for 10, 15 minutes on a pan. And then this last picture is the after picture, which is what happened after my kids came in and saw that I made ribs again, and it's just bones, right? And here's the other thing is, you can tell when you cook ribs to perfection because the bones are all clean. Now this is funny. Wow. Yeah. This is funny because I grabbed a bone. I was sitting down, I was making a cocktail. Yes, I grabbed a bone and the bone came completely off, like no meat, nothing on it. And I just poured myself rum and Coke, and I had no silverware, because when you're eating ribs, you really don't need silverware, right? I was like, what do I stir this? Oh, okay. And I mean, it was clean, right? And so.
Did it add a mesquite flavor to your?
Yes, a little smoky flavor. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So your process is kind of like the opposite of when restaurants are doing steaks, right? So they'll pan sear it first. Yes. Right. Your pan searing is really the smoking, which is the last hour.
Right. So you want to get that smoke ring, and I love that the bigger or the redder the smoke ring, the better, right? In most meats. Now I've cooked a brisket for 24 hours and had such a smoke ring in it. It was basically like chewing on a smoked piece of wood, and it was horrible. So there is a limit to too much. Yeah. And for the most part, when you're talking about meat, and this is where the 3-2-1 comes into play. When you're talking about meat, you only get 3 to 4 hours of real smoke time to get that ring in there. And the smoke ring is basically the meat, and then around the meat it'll be a red ring. Really? And so you only get 3 to 4 hours of smoke time to get that ring, and after that you're just cooking it, really, and you're slow cooking it. But so it's still kind of that. What we're doing here is we're going to smoke it for 3 hours, put it in the oven at 225. Sorry if I didn't say that before. 225 in the oven, to bring it up to as close to 200 as you can. And then we put it back on the grill and smoke it to give it that nice, like, bring it home kind of flavor, right? So that it doesn't taste like you just cooked it in the oven. So I've done it too, like I've got a box smoker with electric smoker. I've done it in there too, but I've kind of started to realize if you smoke ribs and then you cut them in half so that you fit them in the box smoker, they kind of dry out a little bit, because now you're cutting them in half and you're letting those juices come out.
It's kind of when you're cooking a steak, if you try to cut it to see where it's at in terms of the medium,
you killed it. You better hit that right, because if you didn't, you killed it. Right. Yep. So yeah, I did 3-2-1 ribs. I'm sorry, and turned out really, really good. It's probably one of my, I don't know, I think Liz says it's probably one of my top 10, top 5 good ribs I've made. And so yeah, I've kind of gotten my ribs down pat. I've got a brisket. I've got a whole brisket that I was going to try and cook But I just like we're a family of 4, and a brisket this large, and this is not a fish story. That is literally this large. I'm like, so what I'm gonna do, and I'll probably do this on maybe in the next video. We actually might do this for my dad's. So what we might do is I'll show you how to cook the brisket, but also take the tip and make, yep, just the tip, and make burnt ends. So I make some pretty good burnt ends using Coca-Cola and brown sugar and some barbecue sauce. So I will share that too.
Carolina,
Yeah.
we may want to do a little bit of that.
Oh yeah. That is, so when I make burnt ends, I've had people come over and have my burnt ends, and their kids call it meat candy. So that can't be wrong.
No,
Yeah.
not wrong.
So yeah, so that's the ribs 3-2-1. If you guys got your suggestions on how to do it, if you say, hey, you got how do you do it? Put a comment below. I'd love to know how anybody else does it. If they've got any tips or suggestions, let me know.
Yeah, but I mean, because everybody has a different cooking, a different aspect by which they do things. It's yeah.
And that's 100% true, Mike. I've lived in the Midwest. I've lived in I've lived in Texas. I've lived in Florida. I've been to, Nashville and North Carolina. There are so many different types of barbecue. And one thing I'm grateful for is that my dad has kind of taught me how to be, to appreciate every single one. I can go and have some vinegar style barbecue and go, yeah, okay, I know what good is. I know it, I can go to Texas and get some dry rub, and in the pictures that I show, you can see I made a Kansas City style, which is sloppy barbecue, brown sugar and barbecue sauce, which is, I love it. And then on the other side of that too, I made the dry rubs from Texas. I love a dry rub too. So
well, so that's another thing real quick, is that you find people that the different types of barbecue, they don't
right.
appreciate it, right? They don't give the consideration to it.
Yeah.
So like the North Carolina, which is a very vinegar-esque,
right.
Even their coleslaw, right? Because you could almost do ribs,
yeah,
and the barbecue nature of ribs, and translate it to the coleslaw.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
creamy, the vinegar, the
yeah. No. Let's face it, right? When you think about like the barbecues that are out there and the flavors that they have, right? When you just said North Carolina or a Memphis style where it's got vinegary or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if you go to those places and you get those barbecues, you can you can tell which one's good and bad. You just have to like shift gears and go, okay, for almost in my entire life, I lived in the Kansas City world, where Kansas City sloppy, brown sugary barbecue sauce all over everything was like the way you did barbecue. And you just have to shift gears and go, okay, this isn't gonna be sweet. You don't go to Texas and go, oh, this dry rub is, horrible because it's not sweet. It's not supposed to be sweet.
No.
So, even though that's a rib or that's a brisket, it's a different type of, it's like going, like I can appreciate, switching types of food, right? I can appreciate a New York pizza. They're fine. It's not my favorite, but I can appreciate a good one. A good one is, you can tell a good one, right? First off, a good New York pizza, hand tossed, it's not round. It's round-ish.
And it drips oil like crazy.
Yes. And, same thing, like I'm a Chicago pizza guy. I like deep dish. So, all right. So, hey, let's crack this bottle, because I am really interested in this bad boy. Oh, hey, let's okay, so here's what we got. We got the Diplomatico, started in 1959. It was owned by, and I'm gonna murder these names, so please excuse me. It was Lucoricus.
I'll say close enough.
Yep. Man.
Yep. Keep going.
Lucoricus, Unida SA, or Lusa. Let's go with Lusa owned, and distilled through the main shareholders of Seagram's. We all know Seagram's. In 2002, they sold it to a distillery Unidas SA, which is a family-owned company out of Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Diplomatica is a independently family-owned company, which, as you and I know, RumJohn likes very much, because I don't have a problem with the big boys, but I like the heart and soul that the small boys put into it. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah. So if you go to their website, you will
yes,
actually see the family members on the website
yes, yep,
that are actually contributing to the whole rum aspect. Yeah.
right. And the other part of that too is that they control the entire process, all the way from the fields where the sugarcane is grown to the bottling. So from A to Z, they run the whole thing, and I thought that was really cool. You know, they're the other really impressive thing, and I'm going to jump past my my notes here. The other really impressive thing is that their sustainability effort. You know,
For
this,
Venezuela.
yeah, so they're from Venezuela. They're at the Andes Mountains, the base of the Andes Mountains in Venezuela, and their sustainability. So when they are done, you know, we learned last week how in depth a little more. Sam went in depth on how they, you know, distilleries made, right? You take sugar cane, you create a mash. Out of that mash, you create alcohol. You take that alcohol, and that's where your rum comes from. But what happens to the rest of that? Well, they take the rest of it, and the liquid that they don't use, they use to fertilize the fields again. So they take that back and they put it back in the sugarcane fields.
Mm-hmm.
The mash, or the more solid things, they take that, and the website says that they feed it to buffaloes. I don't know if buffaloes, they're cattle down there, but it looks like a cattle with weird horns. Like, yeah. I am not a animal person.
I'm not going to critique him on this. Yeah, it's
yep. So that was very interesting. So, and they, you know,
it's
and they
possible that buffalo look like Alf.
Right. Yeah. So they feed that back to their livestock. Let's go there. Livestock. Yeah. So they feed it back to the livestock.
Good phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting how they're you know, they don't waste anything. They don't just throw it down the drain and call it good. So yeah, and so like I said, they're in the Andes, at the base of the Andes Mountains. The distillery there actually distills in 3 different methods, and that is how that they create their reserves and stuff like that, where they combine the different rums to make this. Is that they have 3 different. You know, like some places, like what I'm doing, right? I'm going to go out and get 3 different rums. I'm going to mix them together and I'm going to age them. Well, they said, well, you know, that's great, but we're going to go ahead and make those 3 different rums ourselves. So they make 3 different rums, and they use anywhere from 3 to 10 different types of sugar cane to create those rums. And one of those sugar canes, which is really cool, based off of their research and their, you know, science, right? They have kind of created their own type of sugar cane that they've been able to name it now, thanks to the whoever sugar cane authority, right? They have now named that type of sugar cane Diplomatico. Sorry. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you know, to have a company create their own sugar cane type and then say, yeah, like.
So now you understand why. So okay, so as a whiskey, you know, bourbon connoisseur, right?
Yeah.
I was when we so John and I were actually talking about these different types, and we talked about I think we were talking about plantation, which for me in Virginia is a little bit hard for me to acquire unless I drive like 40-50 miles to get it.
Yeah.
And so I nominated this because I went through. Thank you, ABC. I went through the ABC store and I was like, okay, let's see what we have in stock.
Yeah.
And when I saw the story about Diplomatico, I was like, this kind of jives exactly with what you have for intentions for the whole channel.
Thanks. Yeah, this was
Perfect.
awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now this is, I will caveat that this is their lower end that we're trying. They do have some higher end brews, some higher end casks that they actually do have, but we're going to start with the essential on this, and maybe in other episodes we'll work our way up through the
Yes.
Diplomatico,
Right.
like we do with all the other rums. So,
Well, it's kind of one of those things too, where if you try everybody's best bet, they're all going to be great, right? I mean, I know that you're going to put the most effort at your number one, but how are you doing at your middle of the road? Are you?
I mean, it's kind of like your wife doing her A game on the first date.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Is she ordering salad or lobster?
Right.
So it's pretty interesting stuff. Back to you, most of the rums that we've kind of stumbled upon, they age their rum in a whiskey barrels or what is it? Excuse me, aged bourbon and malt whiskey barrels. A couple of them, the single vintage and the ambassador rums are aged in in sherry casks or whatever a Pedro Ximenez is.
So I found out from a friend of mine, a mutual friend of ours, Chris, AD's husband. The reason they do that is because they can get it for a bottom dollar. Once it's actually been aged in a bourbon, a whiskey, sherry, a port finish kind of realm.
Right.
It's cheaper depending on the stock on which they buy the barrel from.
Right.
So for them to do it, it's actually a price conservative effort.
Yes. And here's why. Because I also, back to the barrel, I learned this. You can age whiskey in a barrel 4 times.
Yeah.
And then the barrel's done.
It lacks all flavor. Yeah.
Yep. And so for us rum people, that barrel's just getting started, right? I mean, now we're like, we'll take that because we want that whiskey flavor and whatever's left of the wood flavor in that. And that creates so even if you can get like a rum barrel that's only been aged twice, that's going to have more of the oak flavor to it than the whiskey flavor. So, that's kind of the stuff I want to try out too, is like, okay, at what point is a whiskey barrel no longer a true whiskey barrel and it's just a barrel that tastes like whiskey and, right. So, like you had mentioned, they have won some awards. San Francisco World Spirits Competition, double gold in 2006. Good on them. Ultimate Spirit Challenge, great value in 2017. Mm-hmm. Wine Enthusiast Spirit Brand of the Year in 2018. That's a big deal. And the Spirit Business Gold in 2019. So that's pretty consecutive. Every year they're smacking a gold medal there. I am really excited about trying this. Let me grab my bottle here, and it's a pretty cool looking bottle too.
As I open.
Yes, maybe. My wife said, "Do you want to open that first?" I said, "No, let's open it on the show." But now I always struggle with them.
Originally on the show.
Yeah. Oh, it does have a cork top. It looked like it wasn't. Oh yeah. Okay. That's nice. It has a nice, fairly smooth aroma, or flower, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Oh my! I don't know what I'm more excited about. We finally just felt a breeze for the first time in like 7 hours.
Oh, look at that!
Oh, that is nice. And look, I will set mine right there. That is.
Oh.
That has some nice color to it. My goodness. All right, let me put this guy back up here.
Got some good legs for those wine connoisseurs.
It has a nice.
It's an even smell to me.
Yeah.
It's
not like a burn your nose alcohol smell. It's a very nice and smooth kind of a.
So this is a first for me, right? So. Yeah. We've done so. I mean, in terms of the whole wine aspect, or the rum aspect.
Right.
Put up the what is he drinking right now?
Right.
No, because I always smell a whiskey right out when I pull it. And
Yeah, I don't. To
when
me,
we
I smell more of like a sweeter cherry-ish kind of.
yeah, like a vanilla cherry kind of
Cherry, that's what I'm smelling. Yeah, cherry.
definitely not bananas
No, it
or
was
bamboo.
not a bamboo, that's for sure. All right, I'm gonna give this a shot
Ready?
here.
Go.
Oh, I like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that has a. Am I thinking caramel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a nice caramely kind of flavor to it.
It's a very even flavor down the throat too. The aftertaste,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's not too strong. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like a spiced rum that lingers with you. You know.
Yeah. That is a sipping rum there, sir. That is definitely a sipping rum.
Mm-hmm. I may have poured myself a lot, but yes.
Yeah, yes, you have, sir. But you know what? You deserve it. Man, that is.
If that's their low end.
Yeah, well, so I think there's one lower, but yeah, I bought.
I think
All
one
right.
low.
Well, okay, so I think there's another one that's lower, one lower than this. That
Okay.
is their mass produced blend or whatever.
Yeah.
I would say this is probably the mid tier with the oh man, Liz bought their I think it's their spice dish rum kind of flavored one.
Did she?
Yeah.
Good for
That
her.
one's pretty good too.
She outside?
What's that?
Is she outside?
No,
No.
no, I could grab it, but I'm just yeah, I don't know if I want to. I think let's try that later. I'll take it with me and we'll try it next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna try another sip of this though because that was really good. A couple of these I've had. I have to say it really.
It sits really nice on the palate.
Yeah. Yes, that's. I mean, it's it to me. I'm like, I'm a cold drink person. You know, I'll drink coffee in the morning, but for the rest of the day, I like cold drinks. And so I know this is a sipping. You know, we're talking sipping rums here, but I could throw this in a glass and with a couple ice cubes and sip on that all day.
Which is a bit of a taboo when it comes to rum.
You know what though? You know what I just popped in my head?
What?
I could make an old fashioned out of this that would just be amazing.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes. Oh yeah, I've made it. I've made a rum old fashioned before. Oh yeah.
Wow, that is really good on the tongue.
Yes, that is not too shabby, man. I do like that color of that too.
Oh, it's a very distinctive color. I mean, it's very caramel in the look.
Yeah. Wow, that's really good.
Really well. So
Yeah, thanks for getting us that one, man, or recommending that. I am unfortunately spelling it all over the place, but
oh geez.
yeah, you can't take me anywhere, even my backyard. So yeah, I think
and by the way, did yours have the golden seal?
No, what is that?
Look at that. That's the golden seal right there. Do you see it?
Yeah, what is that all about? What does it say?
Oh geez. Oh, okay. You want me to break out the readers? Okay. Oh, biscuits and gravy. I don't have them with me. Oh, that's the 2019 award.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, thank you for taking the time today. I'm going to let it go here. Sit back, relax, have a drink, and enjoy the ride because I know I will.
God bless.
See you, everybody.